let's see what is the gradient. Right? It's just a color, right?
This one is different too.
Yeah, it's gradient, it's color, it's just a color, but we already did with the colors, right?
Yeah.
So we are just playing with the colors. So that's what we call gradient. You understand? We're just playing with the colors, right?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So it's just playing along with the colors to achieve something like this. So that's normally we call gradients, right? Just added different colors on a background or on any image or box. Understand? So CSS gradient functions let you display smooth transitions between two or more colors within an element. And then it defines three types of gradients. We have linear gradients. The color transition goes down, up, left, right, or diagonal, right? That's linear gradient. And when you come to radial gradient, the color transitions goes out from a central point. Which like there's a color here, and around it there's a different colors, right? So that's what we call radial. And the conic gradient also, the color transition is rotated around a center point. You understand? So normally the property that we normally use to add that is the background image. You understand? So the CSS gradient functions are used within the background image properties. And we also did with the background image. Even though we added color, we also added some images, right? So this one is what linear gradient background. And we talk about the linear gradient as it transitions goes down, up, left, right, or diagonal, right? So the colors can go like this, like linear, right? Or can go up to down or diagonal like this. So let's look at the linear gradients. Linear gradient goes what? The straight line, either from top to bottom or left to right or diagonal. So this is normally what we do to apply those gradients, right? So for instance, if this is our box, we can, let's say we can change the colors, and maybe the width, we can add it to maybe 200 to make it bigger. And then the height also 200 to make it bigger. So I can remove this border box shadow. Okay, let me just leave it this. So we have something like this so that you'll be seeing it, right? So here I can add my background image. So we are adding, instead of adding the normal image, we are adding different colors, right? So what we normally do, we say background image, and we say linear gradient. So normally, what we normally do is, in our body, for instance, if I target the body, not the div, target the body, right? So inside the body, and I'll say background image. Normally, we can say color, and we add like blue. So that's what the background color, right? But here we say we don't want to add background color. We can add what? Image, right? Right?
Yeah.
We can add image, and we say background image, right? And when we did our example, we added what? An image from what? External source, right? So we copied an image from somewhere, and we said we want to have an image, and then let's say we copy this image. We copy this image, and we said copy image address, right? And we go here and we paste that image here. right? So inside the image now, our body has a background image of this, right? As we did before,
Yeah.
right? And in that, we also add a lot of things like, apart from the background image, we added something like background what? Background position, background repeats, and we said no repeats. Remember, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We did all this. We said no repeats, and we added different things. Say background position, right? Then we say center, right? All of them with this we added. So in here is a similar way, but in here, because we are adding color, not image, here we don't use the image. We said we don't want to add image, but we want to use color. We want the background to have color, different what? Color. And that color is what? Gradient, color gradient. And that color gradient is what? Is having two or more multiple what? Multiple colors together. And that multiple colors are arranged in different ways, which is the linear, radial, and conical. You understand? So these things that you see here is just to show you the direction of the colors, these things, linear, radial, conic. You understand? Even though all of them will add different colors, multiple colors, but there, the difference are just the direction. This is linear. This from top to bottom or diagonal or left to right. And this is radial. So the colors goes out from what? Central points. And this is conic. The colors what? Rotate around a center point. So that's only what? The thing that you need to know. And before you can have that color, you need to have background image. So instead of putting image at the background, you can decide to put this color, which is gradients. You understand?
Mm.
So what we normally do is we say linear gradients, and then we add this to meaning we are going to bottom, and then to bottom is yellow. Meaning to bottom means at the end it should be yellow. So it means at the this is the top, and this is what? The bottom. You understand? So here, if you come here in our background, we can come here and say, this is our background image. We want to add something like that. Instead of background image, we use this color. You understand?
Mm.
So we see linear gradient, meaning your color, you want it to follow this to bottom. To bottom means you want the bottom of the background to be yellow, and it will start from top to bottom. Red, yellow, right?
Mm.
So this ending always allow you to know exactly where the color begins. So if I say bottom, you know that since it is linear, that color comes at the top or from the top, right? So it means the top color is red. So I can change this color and say that I want this color to be different, right? So that I can achieve a linear gradient from top to bottom. So this is the direction. Normally, this is the direction now it gives you. So if I don't want from top to bottom, I can clear this and say top, right? It means I
Yeah.
want the top to be yellow and the bottom should start from what? This color, right? So I reverse the colors, right?
Yeah.
So always this is the difference that changes, linear gradient. But if I don't want this linear gradient, so this one is the bottom one, the top you see, and then left and right, you can also do that and say to right. So it also give you these colors to right, diagonal, understand. So diagonal is like to right, and then linear gradient goes from top left to bottom right. It start red, transition to yellow, right? So you see to bottom right. So these are the keywords that are very important. To bottom right. Instead of I say to bottom or to top here, I'll just say I'll just say to bottom right. So you see that it's like a diagonal. Diagonal. You understand?
Mm.
So to bottom right, meaning bottom to be yellow, but right. Bottom should be yellow, but looking at right side. So it is bottom, but it's looking at right side. So that's why it is diagonal. So that is what the linear gradient is. So these are the values: 0 degrees, 90, 180 degrees, and 270 degrees. So these are when you say to top, to right, to bottom, to left. That's the meaning of these things. I hope you understand.
Yeah.
But if you think that it will confuse you, they already give you the degrees. So instead of writing to top, to left, you can just choose these numbers here, 180 degrees. So you can just write, instead of to right to bottom, you can just clear this and say, use a number 180 degrees. Or you say, I don't want 180, I want maybe 270 degrees. You see what it gives you. So also you can also use these things. Then multiple colors, you can also apply multiple colors gradient, right? So here linear gradient, red, yellow, green. It's multiple, right?
Mm.
So here you can also play along with the to left, to right, maybe linear gradient to right, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. So look at how it gives you a rainbow background color, right? There's also a transparency. You can also achieve this. It also support transparency, which can use to create a fading effect, right? So all this can be achieved. How? The background image has to be linear and you set it to right. And then you can set what? RGB color and this. And the transparency is this one, right? This is 1 and this is 0. I hope you remember how we added
Yeah.
the RGBA. So this A give you all this in alpha, right? So if alpha is 0.1, we give you the fading to 0.1. So if we want our background color to look the same thing, I can copy this and put it here and say, I want to achieve something like this. You see how it is. So this thing is what makes it transparency. This last value, 0. This transparency is what is 0. But here, there is what? There means 0 means there's no transparency. But here, 1 means, yeah, 1 means there's no transparency. I understand. So if I come instead of 0.0, I'll say 0.5. You see that it fades very light here. So the transparency is lighter here. Right? If I don't want here, I can also say instead of 1, I can say 0. So it's very light, and here is what? 0. I can choose some what background gradient color or something like this. So you see that designing a website with different colors, make it neat. You can also use these gradients to achieve something like this. This also like this. Repeat linear gradients. You can also use this. Understand? And the example is like this, repeating linear gradients. So this also another a value that you can also use. And say we want to have this repeating linear gradient. Say we don't have something like this, right?
Mm.
So I think it is easier. All these are the same thing that we did. I don't want to go through it because I already give you the example. But this is linear. If you want, you can go on and check it out. But let's look at it. It is simple. As I told you, the radial, this is how the radial is, right? So it creates a radial gradient the colors transition goes out from a central point. So there's a middle what color, and the other colors goes out. So that's what we call radial gradient. So this is how it's written. The background color, you see, instead of a linear gradient, you do radial gradient. Here, the shape size at the position, the start color, and the last color. You understand? So this is how it is. Red, yellow, green. So the red is the middle, yellow spread out, and the green what takes other full part of the what? The box. Understand? But if you want to give a number, you can also do that. The red should take 5%, yellow should take 15%, and then the green should take 60%. You see how it's, right? So it's not something difficult. You just like, you can just go on and copy and paste and see how it works. You see how it works here, right? So that is the radial gradients. You can also apply to the ellipse and the circle. All of these are circle. See, you can write them, even the names, red, yellow, green, right? It means that you are telling the radial gradient you want circle. So it knows that you are writing all these colors in a circle or circular form. And you said inside the circle, it will start with the red, yellow, green. So here is a circle, red, yellow, then green. So this also the size. And you can also look at this size, closest side, farthest side, closest corner, and then farthest what corner. Radial gradient, you want it to be closest side, and then at 70 what percent or 70 what percent, and then 60%, red, yellow, black. So this is what you achieve. Right? So when I click here, look at this is the black, this is the red, yellow, this is the further. It gives you different styles. So sometimes I don't want to go through this because in designing, you have to look at what effect you want to achieve. You understand? But if you understand it, it's better. So whenever you are designing and you forget about all these things, you can come here and then check it out and look at what you can apply. You understand? So what is the default shape of a radial gradient in CSS? The default shape of a radial gradient in CSS is what? The default is what? Is it ellipse?
Rectangle.
Is it circle? Is it rectangle? Okay. Rectangle, are you sure? Let's see. No. Why do you say rectangle? Because we are dealing with radial. You see radial. Radial normally look like a circle, right? But the default is like, I think it's elliptical. Because in order to achieve this, look at ellipse. Because I give you an example. I say in order to achieve circle, you have to write circle. But the default one is ellipse, right? So ellipse is the correct answer. What? Okay, this one is this one is the one you chose. Oh, I'm continuing something wrong. Let me see. Circle. Okay, I choose circle. So ellipse. So ellipse is the correct default answer. So conic, the last thing is the conic. It's also like this. You see how it's affected. Conic. The color what does what it transitions rotated around a center point. So see this point. So those colors are rotated around this point. So that's what we call conic. So look at the point of a conical shape, right? And then we have this how we write it. We have the angle, which is in degrees, and we have the position. right? The background image, conic gradient, red, yellow, green. Can use to achieve something like this. You see, we have conic gradient and we set it to red, yellow, green. So you can copy this and say we want to achieve something like this, right? You see how what we achieve, right? Conic gradients, right? So that is what the conic gradient is. You just have to know what you're applying, and that is all. You can even achieve 45 degrees, you can achieve circle, right? So conic gradient, red, yellow, green, blue, black, and you set the border radius to 50 pixels. So that's why you achieve something like this, 50%, right? So look at this beautiful one. You can use to achieve something like this, right? So imagine you are creating, you can use this to create this, and I think it's better we can try once at a time to create something like this. Example, when you have this game that you normally look at, this game, you remember this game, right?
Yeah.
So you see this kind of colors, right? You can also use what to achieve some of that, some of these colors, right? So it's nice this way. But look at the way they write the CSS, whether it is 50%, the background image, conic gradient, red should take to start from the 0 degrees, the red should to finish at 90 degrees, and the yellow should continue and finish at 180 degrees, you see, and then it continues from green, starting from 180 and then finishing 270, and the blue continues to what 270 degrees Celsius to make 360 degrees, right? This is the 90-degree, this and this, all of them are there, depending on where you want the position to be and the percentage of the color. And then this one is the repeating one. You know, we had the repeating gradient and the repeating conic gradients. So know the differences. You see all, look at all beautiful colors. Right? So I think I'll just leave it today, and then if you get time, just go through all this. It's just easy. You just look at how they apply, and then you also apply it. Don't try to memorize anything. When you need something like this and you think that there are a lot of resources that you can find out online, and then just apply, because at the end of the day, the one who need you to design his website doesn't even know all these things. So you have to go and look at which kind of what design you want to apply to it, and then the code is already there. You just know how to apply them, and you are good to go. That's why coding is beautiful. Sometimes you don't need to memorize anything. Go online, search it, and look at the one which suits you, and you apply it and go. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so I think we have done for today, and then I'll leave you. And then when we meet on Friday, maybe we can talk about the website optimization.